While I'm sure there are still a lot of gamers out there who are really excited for the next installation in the Fable franchise, there are a lot of people who are extremely worried, judging by all of the comments that have been made by people that are affiliated with this project and all of the gameplay that we have seen so far, because it seems like it is still in a very rough state. And just a few days ago, we found out that they were delaying it until 2026, and gamers have not reacted positively. But before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this is a game that I have been very worried about for a long time at this point, and just a couple of weeks ago at the most recent Xbox event, because they did not highlight Fable, I had said it's definitely getting delayed because this is a pretty big game for them. This is a title that they really want a lot of eyes on. They want it to obviously sell a lot of copies, and they hadn't shown it off, so I had a bad feeling, and that bad feeling was confirmed because while they did delay it, we saw some pre-alpha footage, which is insane. This game has been in development for multiple years at this point, and you're telling me that you only have pre-alpha footage to give to us? While the environments are pretty, the gameplay is really rough, and I just have a feeling that they are going to continue to struggle, even to reach this 2026 date. But of course, gamers have been talking about it. They're not particularly happy with what they've seen, and so far things are really not going so good for Xbox Game Studios. So this is a That Park Place article. It says Microsoft has officially delayed its upcoming Fable reboot from its original 2025 release window to 2026. Now, I think it is absurd that so many companies give release dates when they are clearly so far off. Look at the Wonder Woman game. They officially unveiled that in 2021, and now in 2025, they've straight up canceled it. You would have thought that by that announcement point, they would have had like a working game and it would have been out by maybe like 2024 or 2025, but that's not the case. Developers need to stop announcing things that are years and years and years and years away, because then, of course, you could silently cancel it, but you are not building up that hype. And this is such a big problem in the industry right now. Look at something like Cyberpunk. We had waited for so many years. There was so much hype, and then it came out, and unless it had been absolutely perfect, there would have been disappointment. Same thing goes with like Elder Scrolls 6 and Grand Theft Auto 6. If those games do not launch to perfection, they're going to face a lot of problems, and that's the developer's fault. It says, though, the delay was announced during the latest official Xbox podcast, where Craig Duncan, head of Xbox Game Studios, attempted to reassure fans. I just want to start with, we're really excited about the progress. We're really excited about where Playground are. We previously announced the date for Fable as 2025, but we're actually going to give Fable more time, and it's going to ship in 2026 now. I personally do prefer when games actually release in a good state and they are not buggy and broken, and I am not a beta tester. So it's good ultimately that they're delaying it, but again, they've had people really excited and they should have just waited to announce it. While I know that's maybe not the news people want to hear, what I want to assure people is that it's definitely worth the wait. I have unequivocal confidence in the Playground team. If you think about their history and the legacy for Forza Horizon, the last few games, critically acclaimed, 92 Metacritic, award-winning, beautiful, great play, and just what they're bringing to Fable as a franchise. Just think of the visuals of what you expect of Playground games, plus amazing gameplay, British humor, Playground's version of Albion, so inspired by what's gone before with the franchise, but their take, quite frankly, the most beautifully realized version you've ever seen. And this wording is extremely worrying, in my opinion. Playground's version of this franchise, which, while yes, again, I want to give them some kind of like wiggle room because maybe they can create something amazing, we have heard time and time again that this is a game that is aimed towards today's modern sensibilities. And of course, Playground is now doing their new modern take on this. I do not like the sound of that. I've talked about this before. This was from 2022, but the head of Xbox Studios said that the developers behind Fable's reboot are aiming to bring this series forward for today's sensibilities, aka making a game for modern audiences, toning things down, making them more politically correct, which of course is never what you want to hear. I do not even care what franchise it is, what game it is. I do not want to hear that it is aimed for today's sensibilities and that it is going to be a quote unquote modern take, because that just never turns out well. Who wants a modernized game? Absolutely nobody. I guess maybe a few people on social media, but as we've seen from releases like Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn and Concord and Dustborn and Kill the Justice League, clearly this modern audience only has a couple hundred people that are really a part of it. So making a game that appeals to them is not making a game that actually appeals to the majority of gamers who are willing to open their wallets for a product. And since this delay was announced, gamers have really not been reacting all that positively. People are also calling out journos right now. This one is about Ryan McCaffrey, the senior executive editor at IGN. This person named James said Fable gets delayed announced in 2020, and Ryan McCaffrey's response was, me seeing Fable getting pushed to 2026, let them cook. And I totally get like trying to give developers a little bit of space. Maybe they're actually trying to create a high quality product. I get that, but you have to be consistent. But when Wolverine got announced in 2021, and then of course the response from Ryan McCaffrey was Wolverine got announced way, way too early, and for what? Sony was already cruising. They weren't desperate for more first-party games. They are now, though. Imagine if this wasn't revealed yet and they could have dropped this exact same reveal at a State of Play this year. And hey, I would generally agree with this. Like, I do not like when companies announce things years and years and years in advance, but it just shows the total and complete and utter hypocrisy. And when it comes to, the gameplay that we actually had just seen a few days ago, that's also not being negatively ratioed at this point in time, but it's also not looking super positive. It's going to be negatively ratioed soon. This is the upload on the IGN account. It's got 519,000 views. As you can see, 13,000 likes and 8.9k dislikes. So they are going up very, very, very quickly. And yeah, gamers are just kind of wrecking Xbox and what they've seen so far. Two questions that need answering. Can I create my hero and can I be a landlord? Unfortunately, you can't create your hero, and we don't know about being a landlord yet, but one would hope. Your health is low. Do you have any potions or food? Kick the chicken. Let's go. So it starts off very positive, but then, of course, you get to the more negative ones. Wait a minute. This game was announced in 2017, and it's in a pre-alpha stage in 2025, which I think that they are believing that they actually started full development in 2017, which I don't think was the case. I think that what they did was they had actually started the writing process and getting kind of the team together, and then they probably started full development in 2020 when they actually started showing off kind of teasers and they tried to start getting people mildly hyped for it. Kind of miss the more cartoony style design of the Lionhead trilogy, announced half a decade ago, and it's still in pre-alpha, and a lot of people are talking about how worried they are about character customization. I do not think that that is going to happen within this game, which definitely is not what Fable was all about. It seems, judging by kind of these teasers and the promotional material, that they are sticking with this very like masculinized female character that a lot of people just have really not liked the design of. A lot of people have not really been all that impressed with her, and I'm not really either. If you are going to go for a more, like, as they like to call it, hyper realistic graphic style, and you're going to have a set character, I'm sorry, I don't think that you should be making the character ugly. And when it came to the past art style of Fable, kind of that more ugliness and the cartoonness fit. But in this case, like, again, you're going for hyper realism, so you have to kind of scrap everything that you previously knew about Fable, which is again, a reason why so many people are so worried. And there also has been a bit of a debate on if they've changed her character model. Actually, I had put up this post, footage from a year ago versus today, thoughts, and there are some people who think that it's a complete new character design, that they tried to listen to gamers and tried to make her more feminine. And then there's other people who think that it really is just the lighting, put one hand over one eye and then one hand over another and spin around 3 times and everything is going to be beautiful. I feel a little mixed on this. I think that she looks maybe the slightest bit different, but I think it's primarily the lighting. And a lot of people just think, she still looks kind of ugly. She still doesn't look that good. They're the same picture. And when it came to the initial teasers that they showed off and they tried to highlight this character model, a lot of people roasted them because we heard the news about it being made for modern sensibilities, and then you see a super ugly female character. None of it just looked very good for a playground game. So maybe this game will come out and it will be absolutely fantastic and it will be the Fable of our dreams, but right now I and many other people are extremely skeptical. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.